Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Gushin Garland and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, I get you the top 40 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. We begin in the United States, where Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived for a two-day visit. His arrival follows President Donald Trump's formal invitation. Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to hold a bilateral meeting with Trump. He has also met the U.S. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and congratulated her for her confirmation. Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke to President Trump on call and said that peace negotiations to end the Ukraine conflict were possible. Both Putin and Trump also agreed to visit each other soon. Trump has previously said he can end the conflict in just a day if he is in power. However, until date, the U.S. leader has not disclosed how he intends to do that. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has also spoken to his U.S. counterpart on call. Trump briefed Zelensky on his conversation with Putin and promised the Ukrainian leader that he will stop the Russian aggression. Donald Trump even opposed to the idea of Ukraine joining the NATO alliance and warned that Ukraine's ambitions could prolong the war. Meanwhile, Trump has said that he might sign an order to impose reciprocal tariffs on Wednesday or on Thursday on countries that change duties on U.S. imports. This is part of Trump's America First approach that he promised during last year's election campaign. Several U.S. trading partners such as Mexico, Canada, and the European Union have condemned his decision to hike the tariffs. A U.S. judge has lifted the temporary fees on President Donald Trump's federal employees' mass buyout offer. The order planned by billionaire Elon Musk was to slash the size of the U.S. government by encouraging federal workers to quit. Over 2 million employees were given an offer to leave with 8 months' pay or risk being fired in future culls. Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer has vowed to deliver country's largest house building program. The initiative is being taken to build new urban areas to tackle housing shortages. The Labour government has committed to build 1.5 million houses by 2029, with new towns that could host 10,000 homes each. In West Asia, Syria's interim leader Abu Mohammed Al-Jolani spoke to Russian President Putin on call. Al-Jolani emphasized the strong strategic ties between both the countries. It was their first call since the ouster of former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. He also wished success to Syria in addressing its challenges under the new leadership. Syria is said to have a new government from March 1. Till now, it was being ruled by interim government following the ex-president's ouster. Authorities have also announced a preparatory body for a national dialogue conference. Syrian Foreign Minister Asad Al-Shabani has said the new government will represent the citizens as much as possible. Hamas has called for solidarity marches across the world over the weekend to protest a U.S. plan endorsed by Israel to relocate Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. U.S. President Donald Trump had earlier said that he had plans to clean out Gaza. This comes at a time when Hamas had also suspended release of Israeli hostages for an indefinite period. A gas explosion at a department store in the central Taiwanese city of Taichung killed at least 5 people. At least 7 others also sustained injuries. The blast occurred on the 12th floor of the building where construction was taking place. The local fire department dispatched 56 vehicles to carry out search and rescue efforts. On to climate news now. Maryland was hit by a winter storm that blanketed the state with up to 8 inches of snow. This led to treacherous road conditions and surge in traffic incidents. Maryland State Police responded to 235 crashes and a total of 765 emergency calls, including 185 cases of inoperable or abandoned vehicles. St. Mary's County alone saw 14 crashes, 3 of which resulted in severe injuries. Officials urge residents to avoid unnecessary travel. A powerful winter storm swept across Virginia, covering streets in thick snow and prompting widespread weather warnings. Streets were blanketed in white as icy conditions created dangerous travel hazards. In response, the governor declared a state of emergency, mobilizing resources to support local governments and minimize the storm's impact. Schools and government offices across the state shut down on February 11 as officials braced for worsening conditions. Hanoi has been named the world's most polluted city as thick smog engulfed the Vietnamese capital, raising health concerns among residents and visitors. According to air quality monitoring service IQ Air, the city's air quality index levels soar to hazardous levels. With nearly 9 million residents and over 8 million motor vehicles, Hanoi faces persistent air pollution due to traffic congestion, industrial emissions and waste burning. Raging wildfires tore through Chile's Araucanía region, leaving devastation in their wake. At least one person has died and more than 40 people have been left homeless as flames consumed 30 homes. Emergency services, including firefighters, helicopters and small aircraft, were deployed to battle the infernos, dropping water over affected areas. The European Commission is preparing to introduce a new climate target by the end of March. The plan aims to drastically reduce carbon emissions across the EU by 2040. According to a newly published Commission work programme, the proposed goal will push EU countries to cut net emissions by 90% from 1990 levels. This initiative is part of the EU's broader climate strategy to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. On to business and tech news now. Oil prices dropped amid hopes of an Ukraine peace summit agreement. Trump announced the start of negotiations between Russia and Ukraine yesterday. Brent crude dropped to $74.63 per barrel, while Texas Intermediate fell to $70.85. A peace deal could mean the lifting of U.S. sanctions on Russia that has impacted their oil supply. 5 unions sued the Trump administration to stop potential mass firings of federal employees. The lawsuit claims the White House is undermining Congress's authority over the federal workforce. The unions argue this violates separation of powers principle. Plaintiffs include major unions like the United Auto Workers and the National Treasury Employees Union. Elon Musk's ex, formerly known as Twitter, has agreed to pay $10 million to Donald Trump. It's to settle a lawsuit he filed in 2021. The lawsuit stemmed from the platform's decision to suspend Trump's account following the January 6 Capitol riots. Trump argued that the company's action silenced his voice and unfairly restricted his ability to communicate with his supporters. Chevron is planning to lay off about 8,000 employees. Up to 20% of the U.S. oil company's global workforce will be impacted. These terminations will be completed by the end of next year. The job cuts are to cut costs and to complete an acquisition. Nissan and Honda have officially called off their merger plans. Talks collapsed after Honda proposed making Nissan its subsidiary. Both automakers are struggling with China's EV boom and possible U.S. tariffs. Nissan is moving forward with restructuring plan. It will be cutting 9,000 jobs and reducing capacity by 20%. South Korea has fined major investment banks over short-selling practices. This includes JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Nomura and UBS. Regulators say these banks have violated regulations in the domestic market. South Korea is cracking down on illegal trading to protect market stability. Chinese tech giant Baidu is making ErnieBot, its AI chatbot, free. Users can avail AI service without paying starting April 1. Baidu said reduced costs and its improved technology led to the decision. Ernie can be used for free both in desktops and mobile phones. Amazon shares fell up to 5% after weak cloud computing performance. The retail giant also reported lower than expected forecasts. The drop erased about $90 billion in market value. Amazon has been increasing investments, especially in artificial intelligence. US-based crypto firm Coinbase is looking to restart operations in India. The company ceased services over a year ago. It is in talks with Indian regulators to get approval for its return. Coinbase's earlier attempt to enter India failed in 2022 due to regulatory pressure. Adobe has launched its first public AI video tool called the Firefly Video Model. It will compete with OpenAI's Sora and Runway's video generation tools. Adobe's tool is designed to work seamlessly with its Premiere Pro software. Meta too has similar AI model but hasn't announced a release date. Moving to sports, we start with cricket. India beat England by 142 runs in their final ODI of the 3-match series. After winning the toss, England chose to field. Shubman Gill smashed a century and scored 112 runs as India set a 357-run target. In response, England were all out for 214 runs. With this, India swept the series 3-0. Shubman Gill was awarded both Player of the Match and Tournament. After securing a dominant 3-0 ODI series victory over England, India has opted out of warm-up matches ahead of Champions Trophy. Australia too have decided against playing warm-up matches. As per current schedule, the Champions Trophy warm-up matches will feature New Zealand, Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan. Pakistan beat South Africa by 6 wickets to enter the ODI Tri-Series final. Batting first, South Africa scored 352 runs with over 80-run innings each by Henrik Karlsson, Matthew Brizek and Temba Bavuma. In response, Pakistan's Salman Ali Agha and Mohammad Rizwan smashed centuries to chase down the mammoth target with 1 over remaining. Pakistan will face New Zealand in the series final tomorrow. In football, Liverpool played a 2-2 draw against Everton in Premier League. Everton's Beto scored the opening goal in 11th minute. Liverpool's Alexis Mac Allister struck an equaliser shortly after. Mohamed Salah gave Liverpool a 2-1 lead late in the second half, but Everton's James Tarkowski's extra-time goal brought the match to a draw. Both Liverpool and Everton were denied 1 goal each in extra time due to red card verdicts. Bayern Munich won Champions League playoff first leg with a 2-1 victory against Celtic. Michael Olise scored the opening goal in the 45th minute. Harry Kane extended Bayern Munich's lead to 2-0 shortly into second half. Celtic's Dyson Maeda scored in the 79th minute as Bayern Munich claimed a critical Champions League win. In tennis, women's world number 2 Iga Swiatek stormed into Qatar Open quarter-finals. The Polish star beat Czech opponent Linda Noskova 6-7, 6-4, 6-4. The match lasted just over 2.5 hours. Swiatek will face Elena Rybakina in the quarter-finals. The US Open has received strong criticism for its decision to hold mixed doubles competition as a standalone event. Defending mixed doubles champion Sara Errani and Andrea Vavasori called the move a profound injustice. In badminton, India sealed their spot in quarterfinals of the Badminton Asia Mixed Team Championships. This came after India shuttlers thrashed their opponents from Macau, China 5-0. The Indian shuttlers Malvika Bansod and Lakshya Sen, as well as mixed doubles and men's doubles pairs, won their respective matches in straight games. In boxing, two-time Indian Olympian Amit Pangal announced that he will go professional. The 29-year-old has signed up with a US-based sports talent management firm to enter the professional boxing circles. Pangal has said that he feels stuck in India and has hence decided to return pro. In Formula One, the Democratic Republic of Congo has called on Formula One to end talks with Rwanda over potentially hosting a Grand Prix in the future. This comes as the two African neighbors remain mired in an armed conflict. The F1 said that it's monitoring the situation in the region. And finally, to the world of showbiz, Blake Lively's legal team has issued a subpoena for its End With Us director Justin Baldoni's phone records. They are seeking additional evidence in her lawsuit against him. Lively alleges that Baldoni, along with his publicist, orchestrated a smear campaign against her. This was in retaliation for her complaints about sexual harassment on set. The subpoena aims to uncover whether Baldoni directly participated in the effort. Alicia Keys, Cherbeck and a lineup of iconic artists will take the stage at the 9th annual Love Rocks NYC benefit concert on March 6. The event will also feature performances by comedians Amy Schumer, Tracy Morgan and Susie Essman. Proceeds will support the non-profit Love Rocks NYC, which has provided over 40 million medically tailored meals to people affected by severe illnesses since its founding in 1985. John Lithgow is reportedly in final negotiations to portray Albus Dumbledore in HBO's Harry Potter series. While HBO has neither confirmed nor denied the news, Dumbledore, the wise and enigmatic headmaster of Hogwarts, was previously portrayed by Richard Harris and later by Michael Gambon in the original film franchise. The upcoming series aims to bring a fresh take on the beloved wizarding world. Succession star Jeremy Strong has been cast as the lead in Netflix's upcoming adaptation, The Boys from Brazil. It is a project helmed by Crown creator Peter Morgan. He has been developing the series since 2024 and will serve as both writer and executive producer. While Netflix has yet to release further details, the series is expected to offer a fresh interpretation of the chilling thriller. And finally, Josh Brolin, Margaret Qualley and Guy Pearce have signed on to star in Ridley Scott's upcoming film, The Dog Stars. This will be joining previously cast Jacob Elordi. The post-apocalyptic drama is based on Peter Heller's 2012 novel, which follows Hig, a pilot navigating a world ravaged by catastrophic flu virus. He forms an uneasy alliance with headed gunmen as they struggle to survive against roaming scavengers. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gusheen Garland and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Stay informed and stay tuned to First Post.